So where do you see Thrive Senior Living in 10 years? Are we just doing what we do now better? Or is there anything that changes in the landscape of senior living that you can, tell our viewers about?
Yeah, I think what's interesting, I'd make 2 points. One is if you asked me that question 10 years ago, I think I would have told you that we will have 100 communities and we would take over the world. I no longer have a desire to do that. I think that what has been the most rewarding for me, and I think the rest of our team, has been seeing the way that our team members' lives and residents' lives are changed in these communities. And I think if you zoom out, we've got, call it a dozen communities today that we're in and out of, and we have the opportunity to see and touch that change and to get to know people on a first name basis. If you zoom out to 100 communities, we could probably make more money, but we would lose the opportunity to have those personal interactions. And I think we would rather, at least the team we have today, we would rather focus our efforts more intensely on fewer communities. And so I see us continuing to do what we've done, which is build or buy a couple of these communities every year. I think the second point I'll make is that the market is changing. Even in 2007 and 8, when I first started getting into the business, the mantra was the demographics are following winds, they're tailwinds. You have the boomers coming, boomers. The oldest boomer today is about 74. So the boomers really have not even begun to hit this product type yet. We're beginning to see the very front end of that growth curve on the independent living side of this business. But the heart of the bell curve of the boomer generation is still about 10 years away from being customers of this type of product. So what's exciting is 2 things. There's a whole lot of need and demand in the market to fill. And second, that generation desires something completely different than past generations have desired. So having a co-working space like this with gigabit Wi-Fi and a coffee shop where you can have something great to eat or drink all day long and a bar around the corner, that's a desire of this boomer generation. And we're excited that I think we're a little bit ahead of the curve with some of the product that we've got, and we're excited to serve that generation.
Yeah, that's interesting. So are you conducting focus groups before you open a community about what that 55-year-old or 65-year-old might want in 10 years? Because that's really who the product is for. You're saying, like, in 10 years, this is going to be popping off and we're going to be batting people away because the demand's going to be so high.
So it's interesting. We had a focus group for this community, for Thrive at Montvale, during our design process. And it was local Montvale residents, a couple of which actually live with us now. But as we had those focus groups, it was a pretty broad range of ages that we talked to. And some of the younger people that we talked to in this focus group, they were there because they had been identified as an adult son or daughter of a potential resident of the community. But they were answering questions in this focus group as if the product was for them eventually. And so I do think that and some other focus groups we've done since then, we're kind of beginning to capture some data points as far as what that future customer is going to look for. But it's interesting. I think some of the product that you're seeing doing better than others in this space right now is doing so because the adult son or daughter is making the decision for their parent as if it was for them. And so they're already looking for communities that fit their own desires.